Now, before I go into the channeling, as I was pondering on the as such coronaviruses, that is an umbrella as such of the coronavirus, it's a group. And this particular novel coronavirus, they call it novel because they say they don't quite know. So as I was pondering on it, and I'm really like that, but I really had a sense, because they say it's zoonotic, meaning that it hopped from animal onto human, so it mutated enough as such that it can be contracted by humans. And I got a really, really strange sense that not only with this particular coronavirus, that is called novel for the moment, that various different as such viral and bacterial diseases were actually as such conceived in labs. And I feel this particular one, I feel like, it's more like a notion. It's not that I see as such. It's like energetically different. I feel as if it as such accidentally as such got out of a lab. I don't think it was intentional as such. So I just wanted to say that that as such, well, manufactured, it may be the wrong word, but that there were experiments done with the overall group of the coronavirus, but how it ended up in Wuhan city in Hubei province in that market, to be honest, I'm not quite sure, but I'll see what my higher and greater aspect has to say. So I don't want to support, massive conspiracy theories. It's just something I feel a resonance to, and I cannot say more because somehow it is, I feel like, it sounds very odd, but it looks like a grey energetic blanket. So I can not see, but I sense this. So not supporting any conspiracy theories. I'm just saying I feel it's accidental, but I feel as well as a sensed intention of as such, well, tinkering with stuff one shouldn't tinker with. Now I'm going to get into the zone and the channeling and see what they have to say, because they have a much more overarching view. I'm pretty sure of that. So just let me pause. We are the higher or greater aspect of the vessel of Yara. We greet you with so much love. Now, the vessel had questions about your novel coronavirus and why it is surfacing now, so to speak. Now, what you must understand is that looking at your as such human history, you have as such ever so often, so to speak, within your time qualities, have had pandemics. Looking at your bubonic plague, that as such had a really high, what you term, mortality rate. Or at your various as such coronaviruses, including SARS, what do you call it, or avian flu, including your swine flu, your H1N1, the list is long. Now, you must understand whatever is reflected as such on a collective level, like a pandemic or an epidemic as such, is in a way reflecting how as such humanity feels, so to speak, and as such what as such a, well, for the moment, let us say epidemic, because it's not yet a pandemic, but it will be, so to speak. depending how much your media are giving it an additional spin, and as such creating more fear. But what we are as such seeing with this particular novel coronavirus is as such, it is projecting your as such deep still distrust in your fellow man. And as such, it again as such emphasizes that. As such, your airports are as such starting to siphon through who can come in and who can't. Soon China as such, or Chinese people, will not be able to travel to as such the continent, or what you term your United States and other as such countries. Certain embargoes as such will be as such imposed in your linear time, and are starting to be imposed now. Now to us, it is as such, again, talking about your fear programs, talking about segregation and separation. As such, these particular, what we might want to term unknowns to you, because they strike fear in your heart, is as such emphasizing, we say it again, separation and segregation, and not as such acting from the heart space. Because as such also what this novel coronavirus is, and it's transmitted by as such it being airborne and being breathed in, and this as such is exchange. It is exchanging, and this exchange as such sparks fear, because also some might be carrying as such the virus without having the symptoms, and as such being contagious. But actually, whether the virus was as such zoonotic, as the vessel said, hopping as such from animal to human, it does not matter. What matters is what emotion and what type of fear it sparks within humanity. And as such, as your global news are traveling so fast within your particular nows, it is as such creating a tremendous amount of fear, almost like a wave of fear, as such the death toll adds up. So as such, in a way, it has or shows you how you truly still feel about your fellow man. It is a very stark outer manifestation. And as such, instead of bridging the gap and trying as such help the fellow man, it is a retreat away from your fellow man. To stay within your family unit, and even fearing your family unit having been as such affected by it. It is really as such, again, your polarity at its inverted comma, its best. Fear, segregation, fear of death, fear of the unknown, fear of your fellow man. Now, we say that this is again another challenge. As we say, through your many different moments within your now, as such your time qualities, like the bubonic plague, that as such decimated, so to speak, your human population, at least within Europe, by a third, if not more. But the more important thing is it sparked fear. And the clergy said it was a wrathful God. Now, as such, your humanity has, as such, evolved sins, so to speak, yet it still falls prey to that fear, the fear in fellow man, thus as such closing the heart space again. But these are as such, as we say, very, very important lessons for humanity itself, to question your own fear programming, and to also see as such that polarity is at its height, and these are as such tests for you to overcome the fear programming and as such turn this around. We say that everything has a ripple effect, and fear has a ripple effect. So the more you are in fear of this novel coronavirus, as such, the worse the outer manifestation or creation within the collective will get. If you are as such, join in prayer and love, this will as such create a counterbalance instead of retreating in fear. So we say, instead of buying into the fear program, try to send it love. Try to send it like a mass prayer, love and not fear. So love as such, inverted commas in your language, conquers all. Love is at the base of everything and not fear. The fear program is part as such of this particular as such construct, or your third identity that is expressed through this polarized as such paradigm of yours. Now, we'd like to leave this transmission and we say, do not fear, send love, feel love and not fear. We love you so much, as creation is love. We love you so much. Goodbye.
Hey everybody, it's Amanda again. We're checking in on this video to see what we can find out about this coronavirus that has everyone in a panic. So check and see what I can get. So what I'm seeing is it has an energy match to this feeling of well, not being able to breathe. So it would be like any environment where you feel restricted or influenced by things around you that you can't control. So like if you're in a building full of smoke and you can't figure out how to get out, you know, like this, like you don't want to breathe, like you can't breathe, there's a smoke everywhere. But it's more of an emotional match. So the feeling that the collective has around that, where you feel like you're in a situation that you can't get out of. There's a lot of that. And so it feels like, you know, this is a virus that's there, that sort of takes on the energy of the environment and sort of thrives. So this is what's thriving right now, is humans feeling this feeling of wanting to change and not being able to get out or get out of this feeling that they have, this restrictive feeling. They want to be able to relax, to breathe, to do what they want. And there's just, it's developing because of this pervasive feeling of stuckness, or like not being able to do what you want, not being able to thrive. It's like it's feeding on that energy. So what could we do to not be a match to that? Know that you can always make a choice that will improve your situation. There are always options that make things easier. So I'm asking, what do you do if you don't know where to look? Like you're so stuck in it that you don't even know what to ask or how to ask. Okay, they're saying, you can say to yourself, I want to figure out a way to get out of this feeling of restrictedness, of not being able to breathe. I want to be able to see what it is I can do to get out of this restrictive feeling. This feeling like I don't get to do what I want. I have to do all these other things. This feeling of overwhelm and overloadedness. Ask to be shown a step to get out of that feeling. And then be open to receiving it in whatever way it comes. Whether it's two thoughts that suddenly connect and give you that aha moment, or you hear things a couple of different times, 3 different times, one time, and then it gives you the aha. Any steps you can take any action you take toward the opposite of that feeling will help. And the more individuals do this, the less impact the virus will have, because there's nothing for it to stick to. There's nothing to help it grow. The environment of a body that feels very restricted and stuck and imposed upon is a match for that virus. So take deep breaths. Physically, at least, feel, if you can, the feeling of expansion and being able to breathe and being able to make choices. Focus on the choices you do have and that you can make. Because when you do that, you shift the energy and you're not a match to that stuck, can't breathe feeling. Okay, I think that's all I got. It's a short one. I haven't seen Yara's, but I know Yara, and I'm sure she's got all kinds of information that will either connect or complement or something with this information. So hope it helps. See you next time.